Hey there, nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with another episode of Hobbyside. This is a series that is dedicated to the hobby aspect of miniature wargaming, and on today's episode, we are taking a look at our Blood Bowl team showcase for the Elfheim Eagles, our studio's Elven Union Blood Bowl team. So as you can see here, the entire team is fully painted up, it is fully assembled, and it's ready to bring blood, death, glory, and of course revenue on the fields of the Blood Bowl universe. So as you can see, we have a fully kitted out team, fully completed, and it's ready to go. And so far, I'm loving the way this is coming out. So as you can see here, we actually have our brand new team fully painted up. Just to give you guys some heads up about what's going on, my gaming group and I are actually thinking about giving Blood Bowl another chance on this channel. A bunch of my gaming group are actually interested in actually starting up another Blood Bowl league again. And this time around, instead of only just having 4 players, we actually might have 12 players actually who are interested in playing this Blood Bowl league. For those of you guys who are long-term viewers of the channel, we got about 2 new players to my gaming group, and they've been, trying to learn how to play Warhammer, Fantasy, as well as Necromunda, but they were also really interested in playing Blood Bowl. And so because a lot of members of my gaming group thought it'd be kind of cool in order to, try that out again. And so because that, we are painting up Blood Bowl miniatures now, so that way we can make our series Tales from the Tackle Zone, which is our very first season of Blood Bowl battle reports. And so we're expanding that league as we speak. In fact, we'll have, I think, like I said before, 12 players playing it. Pretty much we're going to have the one Elven team. So this is the Elven Union team. This will be the one team that we have of Elves. We also have the, what else do we have? We have Orcs and Goblins. We also have Orcs team. We have a Goblin team. We also have a Human team as well. We're also going to have a Dwarf team. We're also going to have, what else are we going to have? There's Orcs, Goblins, what else? Yes, we're also going to have the new Black Orcs as well. The Thunder Valley Greenskins. We also got a player who wants to play Lizardmen. We also got another one who actually plays Nurgle Rotters. So we're going to have a great variety of different teams that you guys are going to see. We have Skaven, all kinds of different teams that we coming up the pike. We also got 2 undead teams as well. We have a Champions of Undeath team as well as a Necromantic Hordes team also in that league. So it's going to be really, really cool. In fact, we got so many players who are interested in playing that Blood Bowl league. What I'm going to probably have to do, because I'll be the game master for it because it's going to be premiering on my channel, what I'll probably have to do is I'll probably have to divide up into 2 leagues is what I'll probably do. I'm actually thinking about actually dividing it into 2 conferences, kind of like the National Football League here in the United States. We have what's called the OWC as well as NWC. The OWC is the Old World Conference, which will have 6 different Blood Bowl teams there. And then we also have the NWC, which stands for the New World Conference. And I'll divide the teams between the 2 different Blood Bowl conferences. And what they'll do is they'll do just a typical round-robin game for each conference, and then the champion of each conference will then face off in our Blood Bowl game, which will be determined who's the overall champion of Blood Bowl. Kind of like how the NFL does with the AFC and the NFC for the Super Bowl. So we're really looking forward to doing that as well. And the reason why is because if we were to do just a traditional round robin with 12 different teams, we'll end up being with like 60-something battle reports we'll end up doing. And unfortunately, my gaming group just doesn't have the time to actually commit for that long. So because of that, we'll just do it that way. So that way it's about 30 battle reports, I think is what it ends up being. Total, I think is what it ends up being. It ends up being really short, and then we can do a championship game at the same time. So yeah, this is the newest of the teams that just got painted up. And as you can see here, I painted these guys up in the traditional yellow and purple, or golden purple rather, of the Elf Union team for the Elfheim Eagles. And they came out absolutely fantastic. Just a little story about these guys. I actually bought this team secondhand, actually. Guys at my local gaming store were actually selling some Blood Bowl miniatures. And that's what kind of got us into the whole idea of actually doing a team. One of my buddies, Brother Grimm, was actually interested in playing the Thunder Valley Greenskins, but he didn't want to buy the whole box set of the new Blood Bowl miniatures, just because he didn't want to have to do that. What we ended up finding is that we actually found a guy who was actually selling the Thunder Valley Greenskins. He actually had no interest in actually playing those, and so he was selling them at a discounted rate. So my buddy, Brother Grimm, bought those up to create his team. And at the same time, these guys were also available on sale as well. And I got these guys for a really good deal, just because a couple of things were missing. First of all, the guy who actually sold me these miniatures, they were already pre-assembled already. And as you can see, the original owner actually put masks on each of the different players, is what he ended up doing. He actually was a fan of the way that the masks look on the players. The only problem with that, though, is as you can see, by doing that, he basically made duplicates of each of the players. And the reason why I don't want to do that is because most Blood Bowl miniatures, as you can see in this team, for example, are primarily monosculpts, which means they only have really one stance per miniature. They basically give you a set of 6 miniatures with their mono stances, and then they double it to make a full-blown team. So you want to swap out heads and things on the miniatures to add some variety, so that way they look a little bit different than your other players. So that way it's not like it looks like you're seeing double. So the guy did that. So he didn't have the spare parts either. He didn't have anything extra with his kits. He was just selling what he had, right as you see it right here. At the same time, he also had a couple things missing. For example, this player here. Let's see if you can see his shoulder pad. His shoulder pad's actually missing. See that guy back there? The Blitzer has a shoulder pad, but this one's missing his. And so because of that, I got it for discounted rate. Same thing with the coin. He only had one of the coins. He had lost this other one. So because I was able to get these for a pretty good price. If you're wondering how much I bought this Blood Bowl team for, I bought it for $20 even is what I bought it for. Now, a lot of you guys are out there probably thinking, well, Commander Cheapskate, you could easily just pay like $35 to $40 for a whole new set and you could totally customize it. And that's true, but I saved anywhere between $20 to $15 on it, and that to me is just worth it. So we bought this real quick so that way we can paint them up. And so I did some things in order to kind of help add some variety to the miniatures. As you can see, the uniforms are all exactly the same, with the purple and the gold. But some things I did to add some variety, for example, so like the hair, I painted the hair different colors, like this one, this lineman here's got black hair. Well, that one has yellow hair, for example. And at the same time, I also painted their sashes. If you notice that each of the miniatures in the back here have this little sash that's attached to them. So to add some variety, I painted one guy red for his sash being red and another one being blue, just to add a little bit of color variety in there as well. At the same time, it also helped out any players who are playing these guys easily identify them easier. The guy didn't have any transfers either, so we couldn't put numbers on these guys, so that part was pretty rough. So what we ended up having to do is actually take a Sharpie and actually draw it in there. So let me go ahead and just bring this guy up here real quick. So I can just focus on this guy so you can see a little better. So you can see right there, we have a little Sharpie right there on him. This guy's player number 7. We just kind of put right there on the chest with the Sharpie after we got done painting them, so that way you can see exactly what their numbers are. So he didn't have like the transfers, for example, and that was one of the reasons why I was able to get these for such a really good price as well. And so yeah, that's how we did that in order to organize these guys out. So the Elf Union team is actually quite an interesting team. I believe it's a tier 2 team in the new edition of the Blood Bowl rules. And there's some kind of good and positive drawbacks about a Elven team. For example, they're really good at passing and running. So this is a very offensive team. They can do that really well. They're also pretty quick too. They also have a lot of access to agility skills and things. They're not as strong as other people on the pitch. So if you're going up against a stronger team, you're just going to get manhandled and thrown all over the place. But you're relying on speed and agility in order to win games, primarily through passing. So this is a team that's really dedicated to that, which is really, really cool. As you can see here in the back here, I kind of painted these up too, the little markers. Luckily, the guy had both sets of markers, which is kind of nice. So you can see it looks really cool there. It kind of reminds me of the Infinity Gauntlet a little bit. And of course, we got the coin here for games, as well as a turn tracker. And as you can see, we got the little Blood Bowl emblem on the top there that I painted up. So I did do a cheap shot video on these guys. That will be coming out here shortly, so that you can see exactly how I went about painting these guys. It was actually a pretty quick paint job, all things considered. The reason why is because they're actually not all that detailed in terms of the sculpts. They're really kind of basic, really easy to paint because of that as well. So you pretty much got the body armor, which is purple. You got the undergarments there, which is yellow. You got the sashes, which I painted in white, and then of course you got the different color flags. I attached them as well. One of the things you could do to save time, for example, if you look here, these boots, for example, what they're actually consists of is a shoe, and then they have the rest of the yellow legging that goes down, and you have this purple body armor, which you then have straps going across it. But I really didn't feel like spending so much time just painting that up. I wanted to paint these guys pretty quickly because I wanted to move on to our Scarcrag Snivellers team, which is a goblin team that is on the channel. In fact, I'll be playing that team. I really wanted to get to painting my goblin team because that's what the team I'm going to be taking for Blood Bowl. And so because I just painted, make it look like they're wearing like, knee-high boots basically, so that way it looks really easy. It makes it really simple to paint up and get it done. Of course, did a really quick oil wash of these guys using Minwax Poly Shades and Mission Oak Color, and they just came out super vibrant and really nice. When I did the oil wash, I was careful to make sure I cut the oil wash with much more paint than I usually use, so that way it wouldn't come out as much of a dark finish, because the Elven Union team is kind of bright colors, so you want to keep that vibrancy with the colors, but at the same time you still want that grimy kind of look because they're playing on a Blood Bowl pitch. At the same time, you also want to make sure that you can see the details with the recesses of the miniature as well. As you can see, the bases are, once again, just typical texturing on our bases. I like to use a mixture of sand and wood glue for my bases. I just cover the bases in wood glue and then dust them with some sand from outside in the backyard, and then wash them with a mixture of wood glue as well as water to seal it. And then, of course, I just paint it really quick. Just use some dark gray paint and then dry brush it with some lighter gray. Now, if you're wondering what's up with the flocking is actually homemade flock. Iron Major is actually a huge fan of making his own flocks. He actually makes it out of stuffing from pillows. He makes it out of sawdust. He makes it all out of all. He actually did coffee grinds once, is what he actually did for his flocking. So these guys here are actually made out of sawdust. So there's a guy we know, is a mutual friend of ours. He actually owns a wood shop, and he does a lot of custom carpentry and cabinet making and stuff in the city that we live in. And so, of course, because the guy does a lot of woodworking, he has a ton of sawdust. And so all we need to do is whenever we need flocking, Iron Major and I, we just go kind of visit him, shoot the breeze, and then pick up some Ziploc bags full of sawdust. Iron Major then takes the stuff and he dyes it with different color cheap acrylic paints. He lets it dry and then crumbles it back up again to make this really beautiful flock that's really easy to apply. And so we have flock for days. So all I do, of course, is that once I'm done with the base work, I just put wood glue on, dust it with homemade flock, and let it dry, and then that's where we get the grassy tufts from. So this is a really in-depth, close look at this Blood Bowl team. Of course, once again, all the miniatures are painted with craft paints. Nothing against Games Workshop's Citadel line of paints. I mean, they're really good paints. They're really bright and vibrant. They do a nice job. It's just that they cost like anywhere between $5 to $7 a tube, whereas my El Cheapo paints cost anywhere between 50 cents to 75 cents. And, my cheap shots basically talk about that all the time. But I'm really happy with the way these guys came out. I really like this lime green base, like this palm green, is palm leaf, as we call, from Apple Barrel. It kind of reminds me of the golden days of Games Workshop from like the mid-90s, where they used to use goblin green on all their bases. All my OG Warhammer fans out there know exactly what I'm talking about. So I like using that motif with these guys because Blood Bowl is actually a pretty old game. It's actually been around for a very long time in Games Workshop. And it's nice to see that game being revitalized again. So we're currently learning the Season 2 rules for the new Blood Bowl. We're putting our teams together bit by bit. And we'll be painting those teams up and getting ready to see them on the pitch. So yeah, that's a up-close, in-depth look at the Elfheim Eagles, our Elven Union team for our coming up Blood Bowl League. So that's good to do for this week, guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest, greatest hobby news related to our channel. That's good for this one, you guys. We'll catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.